You
That
guys can go ahead
gleam
and
from my
mute
window.
yourselves. Hello, 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 people out in the world. This is Darnielle A. Jervy, and I am super excited, tickle purple, even got my purple lips on here to hang out with you as a part of our Own the Stage training program. I'm just going to tell y'all up front, I have no idea what's going to happen tonight. I'm in such a fabulous mood. So I have no idea what's going to happen. Anything can happen. Anything goes. We're live. So that means Latte's probably going to bark at some point. Who knows what happens, but I'm excited to be here. I want to thank you for taking time to come and hang out with me, literally hang out with me, and let me answer your questions and help you to get clarity about what it means to own the stage and what that looks like for you and your business. I'm going to be sharing my own success and how I built my own business over the last 7 years, from no figures to seven figures, and how the role that speaking has played in that. So I will share that with you tonight. As you can see from hanging out here with me, I've got several beautiful ladies who are also here who will equally share about their experience and what the Speak the Incredible program has done for them. And I'm just going to keep it completely real with you. All of this is designed to encourage you to make an investment, to step up and step in, to position your business to maximize your profitability by leveraging speaking. And coming to join me November 5th through the 7th in Newark, Delaware, just outside of Pennsylvania, for the last ever, everybody say last ever.
Last ever.
Never doing it again. The last time ever that we will be doing the Speak the Incredible live event. My clients and students who have participated in the program are like, I'm sorry, what now? Why are you getting rid of it? It's such an amazing program. People need this content and this information. Why are you letting it go? And here's why. I'm letting it go because I've been called to something higher. I know that if you are attracted to me, it is likely because you are a believer like I am a believer, and you know that the work that you do every single day is on a divine mandate and assignment. And you know, God is no respecter of persons. He gave me an assignment too, and the assignment that he gave me has shifted. And so I'm going to be obedient to the call, because at the end of the day, the only person that I am concerned about what they think of me is God. And so I'm going to do what he has called me to do, which means it's time to create something new. We've done this event for the last 5 years. It has been absolutely phenomenal. If I had a noisemaker, I would be ringing it right now. It's been great, but it's time to move on. But before we do move on, I want to open up my playbook one last time and share the strategies that I have leveraged to grow a profitable business through speaking. Over the last month or so, we've been doing a training series. It was called Own the Stage, and it consisted of 2 videos and a live training call, which we just had last week. If you are just now tuning in for the very first time, you can go back and watch the 2 videos and listen to the training call. In fact, I encourage you to do so, because it was designed to give you strategies that will help you no matter where you are today as it pertains to leveraging speaking to build your business. I got a little bit ahead of myself, and I forgot. I meant to start us off with a quick prayer, so I'm going to back up for a second, and I'm just going to, wherever you are, just kind of close your eyes and just, Lord God, we just thank you first and foremost because of who you are. I honor you. I trust you. I love you. God, I thank you for these, your people, who are taking time out of their busy schedules to come and hang out with me. Lord God, to understand what it is that they need to do in order to share their story in a way that offers them to experience the wealth and abundance for which Christ gave his life. We honor you tonight, Lord God, and we give you full reign, have your way, and we just ask that you will continue to bless each and every mind and every ear that is listening right now. In your name, amen. So I apologize. I told you anything could happen. I got a little excited. But I am a believer. I don't apologize for that. I don't apologize for the faith that I have and the role that God plays in my life. I will tell you honestly that probably in the last 24 months, I've gotten a little bit more vocal about it. It's always been there, and people who know me knew that of me. Even in speaking, even when I'm out donning the stage, I don't hide the God in me. I allow him to fully show up. And here's what I found. People in business, they want them so bad, and they want to know that they can have an amazing business and they can have an amazing faith at the same time, which is why about 16 months ago, we shifted our mission at Incredible One Enterprises. And so today, our goal is to help uncompromising, advancing entrepreneurs experience financial and spiritual abundance because of their businesses. I believe that faith and finance can peacefully coexist, and I don't believe you have to choose one or the other. We are not going to get into a debate. I know all the people who are here with me believe like I believe, so it wouldn't be a debate anyway. But we are not going to get into a debate. I'm not going to share the scriptures where I will tell you that your gift will make room for you. And each and every one of us has one gift that we've been leveraging since the day we were 2 years old, and that is the gift of speech, the ability to talk. And it's about time that your gift made room for you and helped you to establish an amazing business like it's been able to do for me and so many other people. Do you know that there are like 4,000 events that happen every single day in the United States that all need speakers who have stories like yours? 4,000 events a day. So if you are a quote unquote speaker, but you're an unbooked, it's because they don't know you exist, and they can't hire you if they can't find you. And so part of what I do as a function of Speak the Incredible, unlike many of the other speaker trainings that are out there, I not only teach you how to tell your story in a way that yields the result that you want at the end, but I teach you the business side of it, how to find some of those 4,000 opportunities that are happening right now in your backyard that you could leverage to start to get in front of new ideal client prospects and position a client entry campaign to turn them into new clients for your business. I teach you how to develop products and services that are going to be wanted by those in your audience so that you can create what I call a groupie line and serve that groupie line and watch the money show up. So I want to tell a quick story. I'm actually going to answer the first question, and then I'll go to a testimonial. Okay, so I won't say the name of the person, but this person asked, "Hi, Darnell. Thank you so very much for the On the Stage training program. I have a question, and I have to be honest, I feel a little uneasy even asking the question, but can you help me understand why I would ever want to speak for free?" I get it. Let me keep it real. I think it's great. If you can get paid to speak, I think it's great. But let me just tell you how you stifle your payday typically when you're earning a speaker fee. They will pay you, you know, $2,500, $5,000, $7,500, $10,000, and that's nothing to sneeze at, right? But they will inhibit you from being able to make additional resources available to your audience. I love to tell this story. I told it the other day in a very different way, so I wanted to share this story just kind of as a frame of reference. So 3 years ago, a very good friend of mine invited me to speak at her annual event where she has between 500 and 600 women. She had a marketing speaker lined up, and at the last minute they backed out. And even our friendship was relatively new at that particular point in time. And she said, "Listen, I want to have you come and speak. It's 45 minutes, but you can't sell anything. You can't give out any marketing materials. You basically just have to teach them for 45 minutes. And I bet some of you out there are like rolling your eyes, like there's no way in hell I would have done that. Well, I did it because I knew, and I will tell you the person in a moment, but I knew in doing the speaking engagement, I would open myself up to exposure to business owners who believe and understand the value of investment, because even just to attend the event, it was like a $500 ticket. So I knew that people were vested and interested in being there. So I went. You know, I asked all the questions you should ask when you're speaking. I hope you're taking notes, those of you who are trying to learn something new. One of those questions being, how many people should I expect? And so she said, you know what, there are 4 breakouts happening at a time. We're going to have at least 500 people there, so you should expect about 125 people in your breakout session. I was like, okay, that's not bad. Well, I had 185 people in my breakout session. Couldn't sell anything, couldn't hand out a marketing material, but I could own the stage, and that's exactly what I did. I think I gave my best performance ever of my Market Like a Rockstar talk. I was on. I was like, I mean, I was as good as it gets, and it was amazing. And let me share with you how it showed up. So when I was done, I had 185 people in my breakout room. When I was done, there were 85 people waiting in line to talk to me. 85 people waiting in line to talk to me. As I went through the line and I talked to all 85 people and collected their business card, I immediately booked 2 speaking engagements, one for $7,500 and one for $2,500, because key decision makers were in that room. So $10,000, just hold $10,000 over here. As I continued to proceed to talk to people, people were excited. I want to learn about coaching with you. Make sure you call me. I went home, and this is another sidebar tip. I can't remember if I shared it during the training or not, but I always earmark, every time I speak, I earmark 24 to 48 hours after that speaking engagement to follow up and call every single person that was in my groupie line. And I did the same exact thing after this free speaking engagement where I couldn't sell anything and I couldn't give them my contact information, but they could give me their business cards. I called those 85 people. Of the 85 people that I called, I probably reached about 35 or 40 people. Of the 35 people that I reached, I generated 8 clients who joined my platinum program, which at the time was $15,000. You do the math. I generated another paid speaking engagement and 2 more free speaking engagements where I was going to be in front of key decision makers. That one speaking engagement, before, and this was 2 days after I spoke, that I had generated this money. So that 2 days after, that's how much money I generated. 3 years ago, this speaking engagement was. Since that speaking engagement 3 years ago, this audience, these people that I got connected with, have generated $500,000 from my business in the last 3 years from a free speaking engagement. So when I talk about owning the stage, when I talk about understanding how to speak in a way that yields the result that you want. I mean, I didn't do the math, and I'm always doing the math. In fact, let me do the math real quick on what that percentage was of the number of people who came into my groupie line. 46% of the room became my groupie line. That's high. Most people get about 20 to 25% if they're really good. Even some of the best speakers they only have a handful of people waiting to talk to them. So what I teach at Speak the Incredible Live is how to do this very thing and how to do it consistently, whether there are 10 people in a room or 10,000 people in the room. How to be able to leverage the line so that you generate the revenue that you're wanting to generate in order to move the needle in your business. And I've done that countless times. Next week, in September, actually we leave on August 31st, Star and I are going to Vegas. I'm speaking at the Las Vegas DJ show. I'm kind of excited. I'm going to have them play Eric B. and Rakim's Get Paid, or Paid in Full, because my talk is called Paid in Full. And we're going to start singing the song at the beginning of the talk. But anyway, and this is a paid gig, so they paid me. They are flying me and Star and putting us up in a hotel for 3 days. And they are doing a separate workshop where I'm getting, it costs $125, and I'm getting $100 out of everybody who registers from this one speaking engagement that I got in January of this year when I went out to California. So don't be afraid to get on a plane and go to where the speaking opportunities are. I went out to California for airfare. That's what they could pay me. And I spoke at a conference where I met Sid, who manages the DJ show, who wants me to be, I'm the opening keynote on Tuesday. I'm the Tuesday morning keynote at the DJ show. I also met Kim and Shanna, who are in North Dakota, who asked my little brown behind, would I be interested in coming to North Dakota? And I'm going to North Dakota. And that was a $10,000 keynote. Plus, they just ordered $3,000 worth of my book, Burn the Box. So that's a $13,000 keynote that I'm doing. And the women at the leadership conference all run major companies and or hold executive positions in education, like colleges and universities throughout North Dakota. So I know I'm going to come home with a handful of new client opportunities as a result of the speaking engagement. And that's just the beginning. So I do this every single time that I speak. And if you could get excited about doing this every single time that you speak, then I really want you to think about and consider the possibility that this is what you've been praying for and what you're wanting in order to truly see your business yield the results that you want. So I do have more questions. I see viewers are coming in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. But what I want to do is I want to talk to some of the peeps that are here with me. And I think Atia, you said you might have to leave. So let me turn it over to you, give you an opportunity to just tell everybody who you are, get your picture ready so you can, show them the before and after, and just tell everybody who you are. Now, let me say this about Atia. Atia, much like me, has a natural gift to speak. I mean, she's bad. If you ever have an opportunity to hear her say the ABCs, and I want you to listen at how she delivers them, because it's like a brand new experience. But I want you to talk to them about you, your business, and then what Speak the Incredible did for you, already having some natural talent around the ability to command a crowd. And while you do that, I'm going to go let Latte in.
Okay, that sounds good. Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me? Yes, okay, cool. So I'm Atia Blair. I'm known as the Master Reset Coach, and I help people to master their bodies by resetting their minds. Darnell said the picture, so said to share the picture, so I'll bring that up. You can see this is a picture of me, or used to be me, when I weighed nearly 300 pounds. I have one more there. There's the photo. So now I help my clients, or I help people who struggle long-term with their weight to experience permanent weight loss, just like I did. So that's what I do. I attended Speak the Incredible, I guess the last round, so this time last year, around this time last year. And it was phenomenal. And I did this after having worked with Darnell maybe for almost 3 years at that point, whether it's attending workshops or, I became her client 2 years ago. And I still, after being with her so long, still got so much from Speak the Incredible, which is now on the stage. Yes, I do have a natural talent for speaking. That's the gift that God gave me. However, there's a skill to it, and it's amazing when you put gift and skill together, you can do magical things. And so that's what it helped me to do. Right out the gate, I was able to book 12 speaking engagements, because, it's great that you have a message, but you need to be able to find your audience. So I was able to do that. Also, I learned how to structure my talk. There's a specific way. We want to get out there, we want to tell our story, and we want to give people an offer at the end, but that's not all that it takes to get a groupie line, to get people to want to buy your products. So Speak the Incredible taught me how to structure my story in a very specific way. And not only was that great because obviously it helped me to speak and sell in the room, it was also great because Darnell teaches how you can take that talk and create a product and create a book, which, you're killing 3 birds with 1 stone, which is amazing, because a lot of us want to create these CD series, so we have something to sell in the room, which I had nothing at the time. And then we all want to be an author. We all want to write a book. But you don't know how to do that, and so Darnell teaches a very easy way to take that talk that she walks you through step by step. So you'll get the CD series, the On the Stage CD series up front, and you'll have the opportunity to go through all that material before you even, there it is, all that material before you even go to the event, which is great. So you go in the room with your talk structure, with everything in place, and Darnell helps you to fine-tune that, and Star helps with that as well. So it was great attending, and then anytime you go to any of Darnell's events, you meet amazing people, like-minded people, and beautiful things happen when you're gathered with like-minded people. So it was a really great experience overall.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So as they're sitting there and they're evaluating the feasibility of whether or not they should do this, what do you think? Why should they?
Well, first of all, I think that usually when people are doubting in that way, it's usually because of finances, because it may be more than they've invested in themselves or in their businesses before. But let me tell you, you will make whatever you invest with Darnell, with this program, or any other program for that matter, you're going to make that money right back. The stories that she's sharing, so many others who have gone through the program have shared similar stories. It's the real deal, you know. So if money is the issue, just forget about that, because you're going to learn the techniques to make that money 10, 20, 30, 100 times over if you just follow the steps.
Yeah, and I agree. I think that we can afford anything we want, but we're not talking about another purchase. We're not talking about another pair of shoes or a handbag that's going to be worn either until the wheels fall off or every once in a while. We're talking about information that can instantly improve your bottom line. Instantly, like right after. So I think that that definitely makes a difference. I just got something caught in my throat. And I don't have any water here, which is so terrible. So thank you, Atia. I appreciate you sharing that. All right, let's answer another question. Okay. All right. So the question is, what is the line of being transparent to reach clients for specific purposes and divulging too much information? This is a good question. So here's what I always say. First and foremost, you do need to tell the part of the story that you really don't want to tell. But as a rule of thumb, I say personal but not private. So don't put anything out into the world. And this is not even just when you're speaking, this is on social media. Don't put anything out in the world that you don't want to be out in the world. So, but if you know, let's say you are speaking to teenage girls about promiscuity and teen pregnancy and sexual abuse, you have to tell them your abuse story. Now, in order for you to tell that story, you may have to go do some work with a therapist to be comfortable enough to tell the story without turning into a blubbering, I don't want to call you an idiot, but that's the phrase, right? To turn into a basket case in front of your audience and completely lose control of it. So you might need to do some work first to be able to tell the story. But you do have to talk about what you don't want to talk about. So just to tell my own personal story, and it happened so by mistake. I was at my event, Unleash Your Incredible Factor Live. This was before we changed the name to Unleash Your Incredible Factor Live. Atia, you probably remember this because you were there. Client Magnet Marketing Secrets. And one of the participants brought me a card, and she was basically just thanking me for changing her life over the last 3 days. And I'm sitting there and I'm reading the card, and I'm just like, I just feel God's presence on me, and I start crying. But I cry quietly because I'm the host of the event. I can't lose it, right? And so I kind of have my head down and I'm crying. And then one of the participants, who's now a client, Candy, comes up to me and she's like, "You okay?" And so of course I raise my head and everybody sees my tears and everything. And I'm like, I'm fine. I'm just so touched by this display of appreciation over this, and that was my first ever. So I was just like, I had no idea when I put this event together that it would be this. And so I'm so grateful that it's touching people this way. And so I stood up and, I just kind of fell out of my mouth. It was not purposeful. I did not intend. I wanted to take that with me to the grave. And so I'm just starting to talk, and I'm just, talking about my own journey and how I had gotten to that event. This was the first time ever we had done it. We had 75 people-esque in the room. And I was just beside myself. I could not believe that I actually pulled it off. And so as I'm telling my story, I happened to just slip and say that I had filed bankruptcy. So October 2010, my bankruptcy was discharged. Of course, today I would tell you that was the best thing that ever happened to me. And if I would have known then what I know now, I would have filed bankruptcy way before when I needed to. But I was so prideful and so afraid that the world was going to find out that I filed bankruptcy. I mean, my own backstory. I used to work in corporate America at a credit card company. I had an 800 FICO score. I knew about what happens with credit. How did I let this happen to me? But, life happened to me. And so, anyway, I'm telling this story, and I'm just talking about what I had been through and how I got to this moment, and how all I wanted was to use my platform, however big. What I know now, I would have filed bankruptcy way before I did. Turn themselves on mute. So afraid that the world was going to find out that I filed bankruptcy. That's you. backstory. I used to work. Okay. So, the last thing I ever wanted to do was to tell people that this was my plight and this is what I had gone through. But what I realized is that by divulging this information, it made me real. Because see, when you're hosting an event, when you're the speaker and you're standing up there on that stage, they think you're invincible. They think if you get cut, you won't bleed. They don't think that you're like them and you've been through what they've been through unless you tell them that story. And so by telling that story, it humanized me. It made me real to them. It made them feel, it made them consider the possibility that if I could change and I could experience what I was experiencing, then they might be able to experience the same thing if they worked with me, if they stayed connected to me. It's just like the title of President Barack Obama's book, The Audacity of Hope. It gave them hope at the possibility that their situation could change if they would just step out of their comfort zone and do something a little bit different and never give up no matter what. Things might change for them. And so by telling that story that I promised I was going to take to the grave, I mean, like I said, I didn't file bankruptcy for 2 years because I was afraid that once it got put in the paper, people were going to literally call, because they put it in the paper, right? There, people were going to pick up their phone. Girl, how about I'm reading the paper and I see that you done filed bankruptcy? And I was just like so embarrassed because see, I'm out of the 7 of my mom's children, I'm the only one who graduated from high school, the only one who went to college, the only one who, did all of these grand and wonderful things. And with that comes a lot of expectation and responsibility. And so for me at that point in time, it felt like failure that I had made all this money. I had this 6-figure income and life was so great. And then I got myself into a situation where the money ran out. And I didn't want anybody to know that. But by telling people that that is what happened, I opened myself up in transparency to be real for them. And this is what your audience is looking for. They want to know that you get it. They want to know that you've walked a mile in their shoes. They want to know that because you've been where they are right now and gotten to the other side, they can do the same thing. They want the audacity to hope. And the only way to make that real for them is to divulge the piece of the story that you likely don't want to tell. Now, you don't want to be up on the stage, crazy, unable to get it out in telling the story. You want to emotionalize the story, but you don't want to be emotional when you're telling it. And so you have to do some work, and you have to practice, and you have to get comfortable telling it. Now, listen, this is 20-some years of therapy. My tears were not because of the bankruptcy. They were because of the touching note that I got. So I can talk about all my stuff and tell it to you like I'm saying my favorite color is clear. But I've done my work to be able to do that. But so just to go back to your question, be comfortable sharing what you want to share. Be clear why you're sharing it. I wouldn't recommend you just tell stories for the sake of telling stories. Make sure that you're doing it to humanize yourself, to express vulnerability and establish credibility, because there's much more credibility in being vulnerable than there ever will be in touting your certifications and what you've done. Because nobody cares about that. But what they care is that real people just like them, that if they get cut, they will bleed, and that they can bleed and get a Band-Aid and go on to do something great. That's what people want. So that would be my recommendation for you. Star, do you have anything to add to that?
Everything that you say, I agree with that totally. Most people come, when a speaker comes onto the stage, most people look at them and there's a separation. It's like, oh, well, that's you, and you're special and you're different. And they will sit and they will listen to you and they will clap politely and they will laugh at your jokes, but there's no connection.
Right.
But the minute you show that you are just like them, well, then they sit up and they listen, and it's like, hold on now, this imperfect person can do this? I'm a very imperfect person. Then that means maybe I can do it also. So, I mean, you're exactly right. You make that connection with the audience, and it's unlike any other connection, unlike your degrees, unlike how much money you make, unlike what kind of car you drive. If I know that you bleed when you are cut, then I believe that there's a connection between us.
Yeah. Awesome, awesome, awesome. That was Star Babatoon, who, oh my gosh. I mean, she's an amazing speaker too. Like, I can listen to her. She can tell a mean story. I can listen to her, and I know the stories. And I listen to her. I'm on the edge of my seat, listening, like, what happened next? And what happened after that? And then what did you do? Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. She tells a mean story. And I'm so privileged and honored and humbled to have her be a part of my team and to help me in various capacities at Incredible One Enterprises. And is definitely part of my team for Speak the Incredible Live. And it's just so great to be able to work with her. And I'll have her, in fact, why don't you tell them who you are in your own words and how the Speak the Incredible experience happened for you, and the difference that it's made for you.
Okay, so I am Star Babatoon. I am an attorney, speaker, and trainer. My background is in employment litigation, so I've done a lot of training and speaking around the law. I'm also a former child actress, so I've been on the stage for most of my childhood. So much like Atia, I think that there's a natural gift, but I've also been studying being on the stage and telling stories for years. When I decided to quit the law firm and go out and become a speaker, I looked at the speakers that were out there and saw Les Brown. And when I saw him speak and the way he tells a story, I decided that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be like that. And I ended up training with Les Brown. I actually toured with him, I spoke with him, and I ran his speaker training program. And I have taken other speaker training, you know, throughout the years. And I think I do, I do pretty well. And I will say this, and I've said this before I met Darnielle, although I have really worked on developing my story, my way of expressing myself, and I learned a lot, but I didn't start making real money until I went to Speak the Incredible. That sort of shifted it for me, because what Darnielle does is, she gives you the outside part, the speaking part, but what she also does is she goes behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? In terms of what are the steps that I need to take so that I can, one, find out who my audience is, find out where my audience is hanging out, and how to get in touch with them. I mean, that's a lot right there to get in front of the right audience. But after that, once you're in front of the right audience, she gave us the strategies to turn even unpaid speaking engagements into paid speaking engagements. How to get that groupie line. And I like what you said before, how to leverage that line so that it turns out to be money in your pocket. I mean, to put those two things together is incredible. And I have spent tens of thousands of dollars on my craft. And to get this program for what, $2,500, and all that you get, it is completely amazing.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. All right, so I'm going to do a couple of things, and then we'll hear from a couple of more of our beautiful guests who are hanging out with me. I'm looking at my notes to make sure that I don't forget to say the stuff that I need to tell you, because I do need to make sure I say the stuff I need to tell you. So I want to talk a little bit about the event itself. So it's going down November 5th through the 7th. It's a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, here in beautiful Newark, Delaware, the home of Darnielle A. Jervey. And I always say, when I go out and speak, I always tell them, I'm from Delaware. And of course, everybody's like, we don't know anybody from Delaware. And I'm like, there's nothing going on in Delaware but me and the vice president. That's always my opening joke. And so they laugh. Of course, Kim, who is with us tonight, probably has a problem with that because she's got but anyway, so that's my joke. So November 5th through the 7th, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3 days, non-stop action, just everything that you need in order to really learn it. So day one is all about the power of speaking the incredible. So I don't know if you knew this, but there are 13 elements to a groupie line achieving signature talk. And so I spend that first day laying out those 13 elements for you while giving you the opportunity to write that component of your talk. Oh, yeah, by the way, you're going to write your first signature talk over the course of the 3 days. So when you go home, the talk is done. You're going to need to practice it, polish it, work through the stories and those types of things to be able to actually do it. But you're going to literally build the talk in the room, making sure you have all these 13 elements. I'm further going to then tell you, based on the 3 different types of speaking engagements, because you have paid speaking engagements, you have speak to sell speaking engagements, you have business development speaking engagements. Of those 3 types, which of the 13 elements you keep and which ones you discard because they're not relevant to that kind of talk? Which is like massive, powerful. Day 2, I think we're going to do it differently this year. This was actually Star's suggestion. Day 2, I think, is going to be the business of speaking the incredible. So we're going to get all of the how do I get booked, where do I find speaking opportunities, how do I negotiate, what goes in my contract. All of that stuff is going to be on day 2. So you're going to be fully armed with a signature talk and where to get booked for that talk, how to put yourself out there, what marketing materials you need. All of that is going to be done on day 2. Oh, and by the way, on day 2, we create the most needed marketing material. You're going to create that and then bring it back on day 3 so I can critique it and tell you if it's good to go, if not good to go. And then on day 3 is like really the mindset, like putting you out into the world, making sure you recognize the mindset of a profitable speaker, that you are confident, that you are articulate, that you are poised, that you are funny, that you are ready to truly own the stage. And we do some practicing of elements of your talk. We talk about how to transition to your next level offer, whatever that is. That's the part where people usually break down in a talk. They're like doing really, really good and everything's great, and then they have to start talking about the money and now they lose it all. So we're going to do some practicing of what that needs to look like when you're doing a speak to sell talk. It's totally different than when you're on a paid gig or you're on a business development gig, because most business development gigs do not allow you the opportunity to sell. So you need to know how to flush the story and tell the story differently based on the opportunity that's been presented to you. And we're going to do some practicing so that you're in the room. You have myself and Star to really evaluate and give you those quick little tips and pointers along the way to be able to make sure that it's getting real for you and you're getting it, you're understanding it, and those types of things. Part of what I'm most proud about, so once this event goes away, November 5th through the 7th, it's going into the training vault, never to come out again, but we will still have our home study product. So as a bonus to signing up to join us and paying your tuition to join us at Speak the Incredible Live, you're going to get the home study version of Speak the Incredible. This, if you go to my website right now to buy this is $2,000 by itself. I'm giving it for your investment of $1,997 between now and September the 3rd. It goes up by $500 to $2,497 on September the 3rd. So between now and September the 3rd, your investment of $1,997 gets you the 3-day event and the product. Somebody say duh, like no brainer, right? So let me just show you what's inside. So first of all, everybody say ooh and ah. And look at, I'm trying to shift it so that you see it and it's not the glare. Okay, whatever. So that's like when my hair was a little bit shorter. I had the asymmetric bob thing going on. I was a little bit younger. I'm going to be 40 in a couple of months. That's the cover. But inside is the magic, right? So inside, I need like a Vanna Black over here. I can't talk and hold at the same time. There's a tab that breaks down each component. So the power of speaking the incredible, the business of speaking the incredible. And then the magic happens, if you ask me, and I'm going to have LaDawn share next, because she recently purchased the product and has been using it. The magic is this section that's called templates and worksheets. I give you like everything. You guys can't even see this. Like all of the worksheets, all of the templates, the things that I use in my very own business that has helped me to build this massive speaking business, I'm giving it to you in here. And then if that's not enough, so everybody say, but wait, there's more. If that's not enough, you get this CD album, which has 10 CDs in it. that breaks down every facet. So you can literally take me in your car and your mobile university and listen to me and reinforce the steps. And I demonstrate the component, those 13 components. I recite them for you so you can see how they're supposed to sound. I give you all of this training, and it's a bonus to joining me for 3 days. So for 3 days, I'm going to teach you, but then you have this as your backup when you get back home if you need to remember something that I said in the room that you didn't catch, or if you want to kind of remind yourself of the way that it needs to be. I mean, don't even ask me why I started doing that. Like, it had to be the God in me, to be quite honest, because as I'm sitting here, I'm thinking about it, I'm like, Danielle, you're crazy. Like, that's another $2,000. You could be making $4,000 on this thing, but I'm not going to change it. Here's why: because I believe in giving, and I've been blessed to be a blessing. Helping you figure out how to build a business that offers you sustainability and profitability it's my joy. It's why God brought me here. And so to be able to fortify the experience with giving you everything that you need to make sure that there's no reason why you can't succeed. The people who don't succeed are the people who don't implement. But the people who actually take the action are the ones who experience the results. So LaDawn, you literally just bought this product in what, June? During the anniversary sale, I believe. So tell everybody who you are in your own words, and talk to them about the home study version of Speak the Incredible.
Great. My name's LaDawn Townsend, and I'm affectionately referred to as the Love Your Life Coach. My passion is to help women fulfill their calling in life and business to go on and shake the world by making a positive impact around them. And, I've been following Darnell. I'm sort of a cyber groupie, but not in a stocky way. When I was introduced to her a few years ago by a colleague, and this program has helped me so much. And in becoming a full-time entrepreneur, I become a little bit of an emotional person, so I'm going to try not to cry. But when I purchased the program, I was at a point to where I was about 7 months in from being downsized from my corporate executive position. I was transitioning from being full-time in a network marketing business into my own business. And the week that I got the email about the sale was the same week that I was praying for really a sign as to what direction to go. No one was calling back about the resume. I knew that was being let go was an answer to my prayer to be in business, but I knew I needed help because I had spent months sort of flailing, trying to figure out what to do. I was hearing about, I would go to networking events, very old school. I'd hit the ground like 5 days a week from 7 in the morning to 8 at night networking. Yeah. And what people kept telling me is they didn't want my products really. They told me I had a story and I should get into speaking, but I had no idea what that meant. I had talked with a few speaking coaches, but it was just about the talk. And my background in being in business, I knew that I had something that could bless me not only to serve other people, but also financially. And so when I saw the program, you have to make a decision, and everything is the risk. And at that same time, I had made a decision to really pursue my own brand and what I knew I could bring to the world, and not pursue as much as the product business that I was in. And so the day that I purchased it, it was like something was lifted, and I was able to get creative because I put skin in the game. Mm-hmm. There comes a time where you can't do the free newsletters and the free calls. I don't know how many of these calls I have on my phone. I listen to all the time. I would listen to while I was working my full-time job before, just to be in the environment. And so when I pushed purchase, it was like a weight was lifted, and I wasn't by myself anymore. Mm-hmm. So I got the program quicker than I had expected, and it was like going to college for a master's degree. I mean, it was no joke. And now, I don't say that to scare anyone, but as an entrepreneur, you have to be able to make a decision to commit and do the work. And that program helped me to do the work. And it also, even though it was a home study course, I felt supported. When you're in this journey by yourself and you're trying to figure things out and you think, oh, I'm a really smart person. I was in corporate for almost 20 years. I helped companies be very profitable, fix their reputation. So I thought I can do this, but it's a whole nother game. And owe it to yourself to invest in yourself to get the tools that you need. So not only did it help me structure my speaking, but just the contracts and the business. And I realized when I purchased it in June, there was all of these things that you were supposed to do as homework that I hadn't even really set up in my business. So I had to go and do that. But, you know, so I say about 2.5 months now, I'm full-time entrepreneur, building my own brand. And there's a lot that has happened. I've been able to go back to contacts that told me before about speaking and to have that discussion with them. And even though sometimes they don't book, they want to keep in touch. There's been a few high-end magazines and also organizations that when I send out my submission or I call them, they don't say no, but they say we want to hold on to it and we want to, you know, keep in touch. I'll take it. So I have done a few speaking engagements, and I have one actually next week. And so it's all building your brand and being visible, but everything that I do just gets me one step closer to my goal, and also it just builds me up as a business owner. It was one of the best investments. It may feel a little bit scary, but you know, the risk when people ask me about being a business owner, they say, well, aren't you scared? You know, you're no longer addicted to the paycheck, right? And so aren't you scared to be out there on your own? And I say it's no different than going to work every day and being scared that you'll be told to be let go. And so there are people all the time that I hear, oh, I'm going to open my business next year. I'm going to transition out of my job in 2 years, or, you know, my husband and I are working on this plan. And I think that's great. But one thing I'll leave you with is that time is an illusion. And even I thought last year, I'll transition out of my job in 2016. And within 30 days of making the commitment to be an entrepreneur, I was let go along with my entire department, including my managers. So if you think it can't happen to you, it can. But if you're on this video, you're already preparing yourself for something that could happen. So don't think you have the time. It's an illusion. If you're still working, great. Use that to leverage to build your business, but just make a decision to do something.
Yeah, I think that's good. I mean, you're right about the whole time thing. No day is promised, right? And, you know, every single one of us has a story, and there is no story that's better than your story, because it's your story, and the way that you tell your story is going to impact the lives that have been earmarked and reserved to be impacted by your story. I mean, this whole thing is divinely orchestrated anyway. But, you know, God can't bless you until you give him something to bless, right? And so until we make the non-negotiable decision, I mean, you made the decision, and 30 days later, God was like, okay, well, let's see if she's ready to put her money where her mouth is and truly do this thing. And I'm the first one to sit here. I will never lead anyone to believe that I went to bed a blunder and I woke up a wonder. I did not. It has been a journey. And guess what? Every single day I do things wrong and I'm figuring it out. Now, I will tell you, it's better to be figuring things out on this side of the profitability than it is on the other side of the profitability. But I had plenty of those peanut butter and jelly and ramen noodle days while I was trying to figure it out. But know that, you know, having a business, building a business, it is a process, and B, it is hard, you know, and I'm not going to lead anybody to believe that it's easy and anybody can do it, because you know what, the statistics demonstrate that is a lie from the pit. And if everybody could do it, then we would have 1 million business, you know what I mean? How everybody would be business owners, and everybody can't do it, and we need some people who will actually be laborers in our vineyard in order to help us to serve the world. But if you're here, if you've been participating in the Own the Stage, we have record enrollment. I mean, more than we've ever had in the last 5 years that we've done this program. I don't know if it's because we are doing it for the last time ever, and that is not a ploy. This really is the last time ever. I'm not going to say, psych, we're going to do it one more time. Like, no, this is it. But there's so many people who know that they have something to share, and they have a story that can impact the lives of others. And I don't care what your story is relevant in the world today. I don't care I don't even care what kind of business you have. I was having a conversation earlier. I was doing some serve calls. That's what we call sales calls at Incredible Factor University. And I was having some conversations with some people who were thinking about whether or not they should come to the event. And one person runs a landscaping business. And so he's intrigued because he's been through some stuff in his life, spent some time in jail, and you know, how can he really leverage his experience and parlay that into an opportunity to grow his business. And I literally laid out for him what he could be doing and how he could be using speaking. And he was floored because he had never thought about how the two could connect. And so I'm just here to say, like, regardless of who you are and what you do, the story that you have is powerful and there's an audience for it. And I'm just going to mention, if you have not done so already, one of the things that we did, we gave a couple of gifts during the training series. One was the 10 characteristics of a viable speaking engagement. If you haven't downloaded that, I strongly encourage that you do. I updated it. You know, before it was only 5 characteristics, but I added some more things in that you should be looking for if you're trying to determine if you should consider an opportunity. And then the other gift that we gave away was an opportunity to have a conversation with Star about the type of speaker you are and how you could leverage speaking in order to position your business. And I would encourage you to do that. So if you're watching now as we're live, or if you're going to come back and watch the replay and you haven't yet had a conversation with us about how speaking could work for you, then I'm going to encourage you to do so. It's part of our gift. We really want to talk to people who seriously are trying to consider how they can leverage this in order to see growth ensue in their lives and in the lives of others, because, you know, your story isn't for you. You might have gone through it, but you only went through it so that you can truly create an environment for other people. Like I talked about during the training, the 3 components of your story, right? The Robert Frost, the Sam Cooke, and the Harriet Tubman. You know, if were it not for the bondage, whatever that bondage was, you know, it doesn't have to be as specific as, you know, slavery, right? But whatever you were bound to at the point that you decided to take the road less traveled and then decided to make a change and do it consistently so your life could change, there are other people who are still struggling with that bondage right now. Mm-hmm. And I just think that it's selfish to be in possession of that knowledge and not figure out how to be able to help as many people, deliver as many people as you can. You know, be a modern day Moses, if you will, if that's your desire to do. So I'm just going to encourage you to really think about that. Okay, so let me go to another question. I do want to get through all these questions that we got. Is being part of a Toastmasters group a good thing to do to hone up your speaking skills? Okay. So the quick answer is yes, but my name is Darnell Antoinette, so I'm not going to just leave it there. I'm going to say a little bit more. So Toastmasters is a great training ground. I mean, some of the most amazing speakers out there, you know, I think about Della Toro McNeil, Willie Jolly, Les Brown. They have all been rated the top whatever according to Toastmasters. So I think it's a great forum for speaking. However, I just want you to be cognizant of the fact that real speakers do say And in Toastmasters, they're going to count your ums. And so you might get a little unnerved by knowing that in the course of a 10-minute talk, you said 50 times. I don't know. But it is a great place for you to go to practice getting in front of an audience if you've only done the announcement at church and your knees were buckling the whole entire time you did it. It's a great place to be to really understand a lot of the fundamentals of public speaking. So I would absolutely say join Toastmasters, but just, you know, take it for what it's worth and know that it's not the same as being on the real stage, right? And it doesn't, it's not going to be an indication of whether or not you have the ability to build wealth. I mean, if you've listened to our president speak, he says or a lot, and he's the president. So just be cognizant of that as you think about it. But I think many of us did Toastmasters at one particular point in time. I mean, I went, you know, here's the problem when you have natural ability in speaking. You get bored very, very quickly because you don't need to understand some of the rudimentary nature of speaking and storytelling when it's your gift, right? Because your gift always makes room for you. Not that you're not open to training and coaching and learning something new, but it's very hard to stay in that environment and be like, the other thing is that the other people in the room, they suck. Because they've never spoken. They're like the executive or the person who just became an executive who now has to address his team, and so he's trying to figure out how to have the confidence enough to stand up there and say a complete sentence. So they're not very good at it. So it's just not very fun.
So to use what LaDawn was saying, it's. I think that Toastmasters is very important for some people, but it is like kindergarten. It's like kindergarten or first grade. You got to go there because you got to learn your ABCs and you got to learn your colors, and that's great. But that's not where you want to stay. We don't stay in kindergarten. And LaDawn was saying that Speak the Incredible is like a master's degree in speaking. See, there's a big difference there. So I'm not saying, and you're not saying, yeah, get your fundamentals, get your ABCs, but you do eventually want to get a master's degree and get paid. You're not going to get paid
Right.
if you just stay in kindergarten.
Yeah. So speaktheincredibletraining.com. It's right there on my lower third, speaktheincredibletraining.com. If you go there, you'll be able to see, lots of stuff about what's coming up in the event. You'll be able to see some success stories of other people who participated in the program. And, there's actually a question here. So I'm going to answer this question as I go into this next part. The person says, I keep hearing about speaker trainings. Why should I choose yours over all of the others that keep popping up? And so let me say this. What I have observed in the marketplace, and there are many, and I know many of the conductors of these speaker trainings, by the way, they teach one side of it. They either teach you how to tell the story or they teach you how to get booked, but they're not teaching you both. And so it's almost like, I wish I was good with as analogies sometimes as Star is, because she gives the best analogy. So I'll probably have her give us an analogy in a second. But I want you to imagine that you get in your car and you're ready to drive and there's no steering wheel. You're not going very far, very fast. You can't if you don't have everything you need. You don't have a steering wheel. How are you going to steer the dang blasted car and go somewhere? That's what happens with a lot of the speaker trainings that are on the market. They're not everything you need to go out and be successful. Now, is it important to understand how to sell from the stage? Absolutely. Is it important to understand how to tell your personal story in a way that emotionalizes your audience? Absolutely. Is it important to know how to get the groupie line? Absolutely. Is it important to know how to get booked? Is one more important than the other? I'm going to say no for 200, Alex. I think they're all equally important, which is why at Speak the Incredible Live, we teach you all of it. Now, I could just teach you part of it like many of the other speaker trainings do. I could tell you how to give a killer presentation from the stage and be done with it. But what good is that killer presentation if nobody's calling? Because they can't book you if they can't find you. If you don't understand the marketing side of having a business that you're using speaking to do. If you don't understand every single component of it, then it's going to be a challenge. I'm a business optimization strategist. So I'm all about optimizing every facet of your business. And so it would be selfish of me to give you just a piece of it and then say, oh, go pay somebody else some money to learn the other side. So instead, we've created a complete, robust, full circle experience around speaking for you so that you get everything that you need in one place. So speaktheincredibletraining.com. There are several bonuses that are there for you. You're going to get the product, right? That's bonus number one. You're going to get a bonus ticket to our annual event, which happens in May of every year. So next year, 2016, Grow Your Business with Grace. Let me just tell you, that's a whole nother conversation. Unleash Your Incredible Factor Live, but that is the baddest event smoking. You need to figure out how to you're going to get a bonus ticket if you get Speak the Incredible Live. You get a host of templates, checklists, scripts. I'm not looking at the page. There are some other bonuses that you get with this program. It's an amazing 3-day experience. And I just want to kind of go right there before I have Kim share, because I know Kim is just going to tell y'all, if y'all don't sign up, you're stupid, because that's what she always says. But here's the thing. I know some of you are watching, some of you who are live, some of you who will catch this in the replay, and you're having a money conversation. You're really struggling with the investment, and you're trying to figure out if it's even worth it. And I'm just going to encourage you to do two things. Number one, to realize that you have never been able to not afford anything you wanted to have. You will rob Peter to pay, and I'm not suggesting that you rob Peter to pay Paul, but you will rob Peter to pay Paul to get access to the shoes, the boots, the television, whatever it is that you want. But I don't think you should put more on you than you put in you. I think that you should set yourself up to be able to use information that's going to help you to change your situation. I have never, and I do, have a 55-inch screen TV in my house. But if it came down to buying something like Speak the Incredible Live or buying a TV, I would never buy a TV because I have yet to turn that bad boy on and have $500 pop out. I've yet to turn that bad boy on and have $10,000 or $80,000 pop out because I learned how to create wealth for myself. And so if you're asking yourself, how do I do it? I just want you to know that I'm holding the space for you. I'm holding the space for you to step up. You've been saying for as long as you've been in business that you want to do this. You've been saying you want to tell your story. You've been telling people you're going to be a speaker and you're going to get booked, and you've done nothing because you've tried to do it by stringing together free information and it's not working for you. I want to invite you. I want to give you an opportunity to fully step into your brilliance and learn how to tell your story from a place of power, a place that's going to inspire and evoke change, that's going to allow you to impact lives, and it's going to allow you to pad your bank account with income because you learn how to do it in a way that serves you and serves others at the same time. You can create a win-win with your story. You do not have to choose. It is not an either or. And I want to invite you to step up. I want to invite you to fully step into who God created you to be and who you've been praying and crying and saying you want, and this opportunity has showed up, and the first thing that you want to do is you want to shriek back in fear and say, give me another sign because I don't believe that this is it, right? But as soon as your car breaks down tomorrow, as soon as your TV breaks down next week, as soon as whatever, you'll find a way and make a way. So if you deem learning the skill important enough to change your situation, to bring more money into your life and your business and into your household, then I'm going to encourage you to go to speaktheincredibletraining.com. I'm very clear that this event is not for everybody. I'm very clear that this event is for those uncompromising, advancing entrepreneurs who have made a non-negotiable decision that this is exactly what they need to go to the next level. It is an investment. I will not apologize for that. But here's what I know. Every investment I have ever made, I have gotten a return on. And what I know to be true is that if you do the work, if you show up, you will get a return on this investment too. And the return comes as quickly as you do the work. Mm-hmm. Star has said, I've heard her say this many times, she invested in my 12-month program, Incredible Factor University, and for the first 3 months, she did nothing. So she didn't get a return. And then she ran out of money and had to start doing something. And she started doing something. And guess what? She got a return. So the return is waiting for you to show up. And if you want access to the return, then you've got to show up. And so I have made a decision non-negotiably that I'm going to love you no matter what. If you're a member of my community, I appreciate you. I love you. I'm here for you. Speak the Incredible Live may not be here for you after November 5th through the 7th, but I'm going to be here for you to hold this space for you when you're ready to show up. There's a saying out there that, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Many of you you just became ready. You finally made that decision that this is what you want to do. And here I am showing up in your questioning. So I'm going to invite you to reconcile that yourself, but I'm also going to invite you to not let fear stop you from getting access to what you want, whether it be fear of success, fear of failure, fear of rejection, regardless of the fears that are popping up for you, because whenever we're invited to up level and step into the next and best version of ourselves, we are immediately confronted by the 7-year-old version of ourselves. We are immediately confronted with the fears that we're not going to be good enough, that no one's going to understand our story, or we're going to become embarrassed, or whatever the case might be. And I'm so not trying to marginalize your story and the fears that you're experiencing, but I do want to invite you to stop allowing fear to be the CEO of your company. And I do want to invite you to fire fear as your CEO and instead position yourself to get what you need. Now, I want you I want to paint a really quick picture. I want you to imagine that, you saw this information, you got the knot in the pit of your stomach, you knew you should do it. You had the opportunity to be able to create the investment if you did a little bit of work and you decided against it. You say, you know what, I don't think it's for me this time. Something just doesn't feel right. That's the lie that you told yourself, right? That's what you became to believe. And there is a lie in believe. If you actually look at the word believe, B-E-L-I-E, there's a lie right smack dab in the middle. Most of the things that we believe are lies, but that's the lie you've told yourself. And so you didn't participate. You sat on it. And let's say you and I run into each other. Let's say I'm speaking at an event, because see, I'm going to keep getting booked because I am not one of those mentors who did it back in her heyday. I'm actually actively building a business and leveraging speaking to do so. And let's say I happen to be in a speaking engagement in your city, and you come up to me and you're like, oh my gosh, Danielle, I can't believe I get to meet you. And, we're talking, and you're like, you know what, I want to be a speaker, and I wanted to be a speaker. And I said, oh, it's a shame. I used to do this event, Speak the Incredible Live. It was a 3-day training where I would walk aspiring and new speakers just like you through every fundamental. And you said, I know, I learned about the training last year, but I made the decision not to do it. And then I ask you the question you are hoping with every fiber of your being that I don't ask. And I say, so what's been going on in your life over the last year since that training? And you put your head down and you begin to shake it. And you begin to tell me your sob story about how you're broke and you're trying to find a job, and how, you're about to be evicted from wherever. And yeah, I'm going to make it as ugly as I can possibly make it to drive my point home for you. And I say something like, dang, it's a shame that when you were in a position to do so last year, you didn't take advantage of it, because you might be telling a different story right now. And if that story just kind of pissed you off and that's not what you're really wanting, then I'm going to encourage you to go to speaktheincredibletraining.com, or better yet, hit the take the next step button that's right there on the page, or you can hit the request a session. Let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation about how this could be the right choice for you. But here's the thing, please don't waste my time. Don't waste Star's time. Don't be pookieing your way into having a conversation with us if you have no intentions of figuring out how you can make sure that you make it to the last ever Speak the Incredible Live. I'm just keeping it real. Because we work with serious business owners. We work with people who make non-negotiable decisions to do whatever it takes to get access to what they need, to move the needle in their life and in their business, to get access to the ability to experience financial and spiritual abundance in their life because of their business. That's who we work with. And so if that's not you, then don't call us. Don't request a session. But if you really are trying to figure it out and you need some help to do so, then we would welcome the opportunity to be able to have that conversation with you. I have 2 more quick questions, Kim, and then I'm going to shoot it to you. So how do you get started if you don't have a sizzle reel yet, any footage? Well, you don't wait for footage to get started, quite honestly. But let me tell you what I did back in 2007, right before it was 2008, because it was 2009 where I booked all those speaking engagements. So in 2008, I was still a Mary Kay sales director, and I had a Mary Kay training center. And so I, during one of our weekly meetings where I do a 20-minute motivational ditty, I had a cameraman come. So I had a full audience. I had a cameraman come, and he shot me. He got footage. If you don't have an audience, do your talk for yourself. Get somebody to point a camera at you and do a full talk if you can, or at least create the 5 to 7 key points that you would want to be conveyed if you were creating a sizzle reel. And then, although it's not the most ideal situation, you could absolutely use stock images and have a voice makeover person with those 5 to 7 clips and create something showing you what to do. Worst case, create a video, like again, you standing in front of the camera as if you have an audience, even if the audience is maybe not your kids because they're going to sound like kids, but invite your best girl, your besties over and have them be your audience and have them talk back to you, but the camera is on you the entire time, speaking for 5 minutes about your topic, all the things you'd want to be able to say. If you can have amazing sound bites that will get the attention of audiences and meeting planners, and create that and put that bad boy on YouTube. Anybody who is looking for speakers is not necessarily looking for a professionally shot video. I mean, if you've ever been to my YouTube channel, there's a lot of stuff out there. In the early days, every single speaking engagement I recorded, all of them are not even on YouTube. Some of them, the quality of the recording was so hideous that I was like, I'm not going to even embarrass myself this way. But we'd set up our little camera. That was back in the day when they had the flip. Did they still make the flip video camera? Where you could just, take it, put the USB in the computer and it would download. Well, this was back in the day with the flip. I had the flip HD. I would set that bad boy up on a tripod. I would have a person in the back of the room make sure they could see my whole body. And I would have them push record, and I would go. And at the end, I would take that bad boy home. I would cut it to the first 3 to 5 minutes and put that bad boy on YouTube. So don't be stopped by the limitation.
Yes, ma'am.
And of course, the next time you're going to be speaking somewhere and there's going to be a sizable audience, either hire your own video team or ask the person doing the event, if they're already doing video, can you get a copy of the footage? Most of the time, they'll give it to you for free. Or find out if you can pay the video guy to splice just your portion and send it to you on a DVD so that you'll have some professionally shot footage. But don't let not having a sizzle reel stop you from getting booked. There are way too many opportunities and too many people who need to hear your story. Okay, so thanks for the shift on the one sheet to the speaker outline. It makes so much sense, especially to have them done in advance. This is my homework for the next week. Regarding speech titles, I would like examples. How do we include the results that we bring to the table in the title without being too wordy? Okay. So, like Market Like a Rock Star. That tells the problem and the solution at the same time. Everybody knows the rock star lifestyle, so it's implied what happens there. Paid in full, like that's my new talk. So, paid in full, how to build your business by boosting sales. So that's another example. I'm all about, you want to make sure that the title that you give, I always say this, make sure that it's clear before it being cute, but if you can, make it catchy so that people will want it. Another talk that I have is become a brand in demand. So the fact that you're not in demand right now is implied. So I don't actually say, for those who aren't a brand in demand who want to become one, because that would be a whack title. But brand in demand rhymes, so, that's an example of that type of thing. But this person is actually a client, so we can help you. You start your titles and send them to me. I'm really good with that kind of stuff, and we can flush them out and make them really, really good for you. Okay, so we're just about done. SpeakTheIncredibleTraining.com, SpeakTheIncredibleTraining.com. Kim, are you there? Did you go away?
I'm here.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to Kim. Kim is she's like my ride or die client. Not that my other clients aren't ride or die clients. Nobody else out there be feeling like they can. But let me just tell you about Kim. Kim will fight for me. That's the kind of client Kim is. Like, if she found out somebody talking about me, gets her Vaseline, she takes her earrings off, and she's ready to go. Now, she is truly a trooper and a team player. She's amazing in her own right. My favorite story about them, I don't know if this is going to be the same one that she shares because she's got so many stories from speaking and making money that she could share. But my favorite one was the very first time they followed the formula and did a talk and made $30,000. That is my favorite one. And I'll never forget, I got that phone call after the last person left the room, and she said, "Hey, Darielle." And I was like, "Hey, Kim." She was like, "Oh, my gosh, it worked. Yo, I can't believe it worked. We just made $30,000. That was exactly how she said it. Those were exactly the words. And then she goes, "I think we're going to do this a couple more times." So with that, Kim, tell everybody who you are in your own words and tell them about Speak the Incredible and what it did for you and why they should come.
So thank you, Danielle, for your introduction. And good evening, everybody. My name is Kim Broomer. I am one half of Keep Selling Property. And we are a real estate and consulting firm, and we help uncompromising entrepreneurs use real estate property to fund their dreams and goals. We flip properties without using our own money or credit, and we teach you to do the same. So, Speak the Incredible, it is a phenomenal event. It's like one of my favorites, and I always say that about everything, but this really, really is one of my favorites because speaking has really done so much for our business. It just really has. And I remember the first time that Darnell's talking about, we went to one of her events and we did exactly what she said, as much as we could remember. And I'm going to say that because we got so much information. So whatever we walked away with, Shay and I, we did that, and we did. We made $30,000, and all we knew was on her next event, we was going to be in the building. And that's what we did. We was in the building, and we just knew we got to get in her community. When Darnell says when people come in her space, they make money, I can say that's the truth. So when we went to Speak the Incredible, and I'm coming back for this one too, um, it's so comprehensive. It's like the A to Z, soup to nuts. It's all that. And it's everything you need to make real serious money speaking. And I'm so grateful. And this is why I'm a ride or die for Danielle, because she gives you everything you need to feel confident and feel good in your business to go out and make money, and you can do what you was born to do. And that allows you freedom. And when you feel free, you feel good. So anybody messing with somebody that helped me feel good about me, helped me feel good about my business, and helps my family. Because when I make money, that makes a better life for my family, my
Right.
friends, my mom, my grandma. You know, those things are important to me. You can't mess with Danielle and think you're gonna mess with me. That's it. She's just amazing, and she gives her all 100% of the time. And I know this Speak the Incredible is going to be amazing. We have really started doing exactly what Danielle says. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, we were those folks. We did a couple of things, and we were making okay money. And now that we're doing exactly what she says from A to Z, we're making really good money in our speaking, and we're grateful. And we're grateful. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I think if you're going to use speaking as one of the tools to make money in your business, and you don't come to this event, you're stupid. That's all I can say. That's the truth. That's how I feel. And I just believe in telling the truth and shaming the devil. This is where it's at. This is where you need to be. I can say it. I've been there, before, and I'm coming back because every time I get something different, and you're going to have what you need. So I definitely encourage everybody to come and look for me when you're there. Make sure you say hi to me.
Thanks, Kim. I was just somebody just sent me a text message and I almost forgot. Um, and as you're sifting through and you're trying to figure out if you can make this happen, I always forget that this is available. PayPal started doing this thing, I don't know, a couple of months ago, where you can get paid, maybe even longer than that, but they do this PayPal credit thing where you could qualify to get 6 months to pay for an investment, and I think it has to be just $99 or more or whatever. So if you have a PayPal account and you really want to get to this event, and 6 months from now you've finished Speak the Incredible, you have everything you need to be out there making it rain in your business. So I would encourage you to go to PayPal. When you go onto our website, speaktheincredibletraining.com, and click on the register now or whatever the little button is, when you get to checkout, choose PayPal as your option, and when it takes you over to PayPal, give you the option to apply for PayPal credit. I don't know. Although I do have a background as a credit analyst, I used to work in credit card company many moons ago. I am not the credit analyst on your transaction, so I don't know what the stipulations are on you getting approved, but you could get approved, and if you do, that gives you 6 months to manage the investment. And so I wanted to throw that out. Somebody actually just texted me, so thank you so much for that, because I completely slipped my mind, and I'm all about making sure you guys have all the information you need to decide whether or not this can make it happen. That could be a godsend for you. We've had other people leverage that for some of our other offerings, and so it can be a great way to make sure you get access to the information now. It's like layaway. You get access to the information now, and you can pay for it later. I think Kmart still brings out layaway like as we approach Christmas. I know I'm crazy. I told you anything can happen tonight, and I'm always going to be real no matter what. I do put my pants on one leg at a time, just like you. If you cut me, I will bleed. I'm a real person, real, who has figured out how to leverage her gifts and talents to create wealth. You know what's really amazing about my life today is, and I was actually saying this to Star, we were together earlier. We have a client that we're working with in Virginia, and I had to go down to do a debrief with them this morning, and and we were talking about my talk next week at the Las Vegas DJ show, where I'm going to be talking about paid in full, and I just kind of mentioned to her how amazing it is today to have more money than I can spend or give. Like the money that I have in my, and I'm still not bragging, but I really just want to plant a seed for you of what's possible. And this is 5 years ago. I filed bankruptcy, and I was eating ramen noodles and peanut butter and jelly every other day. I did that for 18 months. I drove, I had a pink Cadillac, which I sent back to Mary Kay Cosmetics, and my other car was an ML 550 Mercedes-Benz SUV, which I downgraded and drove a Chevy Equinox. No disrespect to the Equinox drivers out there. We had 4 good years in that car. Her name was Shiloh. But I downgraded. My dad worked at GM, so I got a banging discount. So my car payment was like next to nothing. I needed to be able to get back and forth so I could, get things to move in my life. And so, I get it. But today, if you would have told me then, when I was at my lowest, trying to figure out how I was going to keep my house, trying to figure out how I was going to be able to pay the little bit of bills that I could afford to pay, I would have never imagined that 5 years later, and it actually started to shift for me, 2 years later, that I would have more money than I could spend. I don't even know what I could buy. Maybe if I bought a private jet, then I could spend all the money I got in my bank account. But that's 5 years later, everybody, and that is almost entirely through speaking. Every single client I have and ever worked with was generated from me speaking, whether it was on a YouTube video on Incredible Factor TV, whether it was on a blog talk radio show, whether it was on, traditional media, whether it was at a speaking engagement. Every single client, every single dollar that I have made in my business, every single dollar that I've made in my business, every single dollar I have made in my business, I can tie it back to speaking. Every dollar. Even speaking in a sales conversation. Every single dollar I can tie it back to using this. Each and every one of our most innate gift, we've been doing it since we were 2 without thinking about it. Mm-hmm. Using this gift, because there are some people who can't talk. They can't speak for themselves, right? Using this gift, I can trace every single dollar that I've ever made in my business. And today, I'm in a position where I have more money than I can spend or give, because I'm not selfish and I give, and I love to just surprise people and bless people and pay their bills and that type of thing. Now, don't be trying to send me no emails so I can pay your bills, right? Because I do it divinely inspired. But so no, sorry, Star. But every single thing I can trace back to speaking. And this is just 5 years after I was at my lowest point. October the 6th, 2010. That was the day I stood in front of the clerk at the bankruptcy court, and I heard him say, "You are discharged." And I felt the weight move from my shoulders. And I felt as if God had given me another chance to get it right. Just 5 years later, you guys. 5 years is nothing in comparison to how quickly your journey could change. And that journey changed because I've learned how to leverage speaking to move the crowd. I'm an MC, like Eric B. and Rakim, because to me, MC means move the crowd, to help people to take the decisive, inspired action that is going to lead them to the audacity of what they hope for. Speaking. SpeakTheIncredibleTraining.com is where I want to show you how to do the same exact thing. And I'm just going to and encourage you one last time to go to the page, check it out, pray over it. Listen, I say try the spirit by the spirit. Pray over it. Figure out if this is where you need to be, because this is the last time that I'm doing it. There will not be a psych. We decided to do it one more time in 2016. We have a new event coming. We're already starting to plan and design that event. New event in 2016. This is the last time. You'll only be able to get the home study, which is great in its own right. You heard LaDawn say that, but it's not 3 days in a room with me and Star. It's not 3 days with us making over your signature talk right in front of your eyes and helping you to tell that story and thread it in a way that inspires the action that you want. It's never going to happen this way again. And I would just hate to run into you on December 1st. And you're like, oh, I wish I would have come. Yeah. I wish I would have done it, because I know that it's what I need. I just really don't want that to happen for you. But I want to thank you for your time tonight. I want to thank you for hanging out with us. I think I got all the questions. Let me make sure I didn't miss any questions. And I'm going to leave you with this one quote. I love this quote. To go through an impossible situation, and right now, figuring out how you're going to afford, how you're going to invest in, I was about to say unleash your incredible factor, how you're going to invest and speak the incredible live, it might seem like an impossible situation. You don't need the reflexes of a Grand Prix driver, the muscle of a Hercules, or the mind of an Einstein. You simply need to know what to do. Anthony Greenback said that. I know what you need to do in order to change your situation. And I'm going to be teaching 30 plus very excited, uncompromising, and advancing entrepreneurs that very thing. My question is, will you be one of them? Will you be hanging out with us, learning how to take your story to the next level and to use your story to shift and change the lives of others? Will you be one of the 30? That's what I want to know right now. And if you will be one of the 30, please keep in mind that on September the 3rd, a week from today, the investment goes up by $500. So make haste. Don't you call me on September the 4th talking about, can I get $500 off? Because I will have given you 2 weeks since the training call to work it out, to figure it out. It goes up on September the 3rd to $24.97. And trust me, it's worth every single nickel and more. Because this by itself, if you go to my website, and you'll see that this by itself is $19.97. But I'm allowing you to get access to the product as a bonus and spend 3 days in a room with me and Star for the same investment. The choice is now yours. You could get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get with that. I think you should get with this, because this is where it's at. So I want to thank you guys. Final thoughts? Anybody have any final closing thoughts and remarks before we send these people off to do whatever we do on a Thursday night when there's no scandal on television?
You have said all that needs to be said.
Awesome. LaDawn?
I just wanted to add one thing. You were talking earlier about people making the decision and they're on their job and things like that. And I've heard some people say, if that happens to me, I can get a job. I'm an engineer, or I have this amount of years. And I just want to encourage them to take the step to be a part of the program, because in the 9 months that I've been, my assignment ended in corporate America, I've gotten 3 phone calls about my resume, and they've all been for sales jobs to build someone else's brand. So the environment and culture is not what it was a few years ago, and if that's your backup plan, that you'll get a job quickly, you need to invest in this as your backup plan and build your own.
Wow, that's good.
Well, I will say one thing, and it goes to what that one of the questions was about: why should they take this class? Why not take another class? And I'm reminded of when I went skiing with my good friend Marie, who's an excellent skier, and we spent 6 hours on the slopes with her trying to teach me how to ski, and I did not learn how to ski, and my body was bruised and battered at the end of it. The very next day when I went skiing, I let her go off with her sister, and I took a lesson from a professional. And in that 1 hour, that professional taught me how to ski. I spent the rest of the day skiing. And that's kind of what you have here with Speak the Incredible. You could have Marie or some other person teach you about speaking, and then you can go through the bumps and bruises, or you can come to a professional, someone who not only is doing it, but knows how to teach it so that you could do it too. See, my friend Marie, she knew how to ski. She didn't know how to teach me.
Right.
Danielle not only knows how to do this and is doing it every day, she knows how to teach you. So you decide how you want to make that investment, how you want to spend your time.
Wow, that's good. See, I
Can
told
I
you.
build upon that? It's Atia.
Yeah, she does. She gets some good little analogies. Go ahead, Atia.
So during one of a workshop that I was in with you, it might have been the one of the client retreats, but I remember asking you the question, because I was contemplating attending Speak the Incredible, and I asked you the question, where would you be in business if you didn't speak?
Mm-hmm.
And your answer was, I wouldn't have a business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would still be out there struggling, trying to figure it out, and that's what really tipped the scale for me and helped me to make a decision. And you've been saying that for a long time. Speaking is the fastest way to grow your business. Speaking is the fastest way to grow your business. And I finally, put the steps into place, and just after a few months, my mailing list doubled, my clients doubled. I now have more clients than I've ever had before. And previously, I was just out there networking, going to different events. And it's nice to network and, meet new people, but I don't have to necessarily do that anymore if I'm speaking.
Right.
So it does a lot of the heavy lifting for you.
Mm-hmm.
That time that you would have been out in the evening networking, you can spend that time doing other things to grow your business, to create products, to wash your hair, whatever you want to do.
Right.
And so, yeah, speaking is the fastest way to grow your business. If you're out there struggling to get clients and trying to figure things out, you need this information because it'll make all the difference for you. It kind of gives you new air in a way, because it takes other profit-producing activities off of your plate that do not generate as much results.
Nicely said.
Sounds like a client at Incredible Factor University to me.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what we do. We grow businesses, period. We show people how to grow their business. And hands down, speaking is the best way. Like I said, I cannot think of $1 that I've made in my business that didn't come from speaking. Even Atia, how we first met, we went out for lunch, and I spoke to her about my Get Paid Intensive, which she came to.
Yeah.
Every single person, I can't think of one time where speaking hasn't played in it. And she's absolutely right. I would not have a business, let alone a profitable business that employs other people. I definitely would not have a business as a result of that. Kim, you have anything you want to say in closing? Going once, going twice. All right, we're going to take that as a no. Well, I want to thank you guys for your time and attention this evening, and I want to thank you for your participation in the Own the Stage training series. The training series will remain up between now and the event, so we welcome the opportunity for you to go back and listen again. And if, as you listen again and you realize that those 7 strategies and plus a couple of other strategies within a strategy that I gave you are impactful and will help you in your business, and you want access to more, November 5th through the 7th. I'd love to see you. I'd love to teach you this one last time as I open up this playbook, the playbook that has built me a 7-figure business by running my mouth. Honey, child, please. We can have a whole nother Google Hangout about what I've been afforded because I've learned how to speak the incredible. And I would love, more than anything, the opportunity to help you to do the same thing. So I just want to say one quick prayer to close us out, and then I'm going to send you on your way. Lord God, I just thank you for these, your people who have been hanging out with me for the last 90 minutes. God, touch them, each and every one of them, and help them with whatever it is that they stand in need for. Lord God, I just thank you for the opportunity to help them to see the power of the story and the purpose that you've given them. And I pray that they will allow you to help them to let their gift make room for them. We honor you and we praise you, and we just thank you for these and all things and every single blessing that comes our way. Bless their businesses, God. Help them to get access to what it is that they're needing so they can continue to do your will in the world. In your name, amen. So I want to thank you guys so very much. Have an absolutely incredible evening, and I will see you at Speak the Incredible Live one last time. This is Darnyelle A. Jervey saying, be better, be stronger, and more than anything, be incredible. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Take care. I almost feel like the Sound of Music, you know, at the end where they're, you guys see this? That's like my favorite music. This is like the B-roll. So, you know, in the Sound of Music, when they go to Austria and they're leaving, they're going to be leaving. So they go to the big concert and they're singing the song "So Long Farewell," or Avita saying adieu, 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 adieu to you and you and you. And then it's like the last time, and they're like, I'm not going to sing it. Goodbye. And then they like, I just felt like that. So anyway, that is my favorite.
Good night, Darnyelle.
Have a good night. I love you guys. Take care.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.